Going live, and the Hangout on Air is now live. The September 18th, 2015 Small Business Accounting Advisors. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
So, Dennis, I'm going to start with you. Tell me what you found out about the Pro Advisor membership, new this month.
You have to, if you want to downsize or downgrade, you actually, what I did was I went to my Pro Advisor website, and they had the different plans, and so I called the number, which I got the Pro Advisor hotline, and then they transferred me to sales, and so then we did it over the phone, where they're basically canceling. It was to renew in October, so they canceled that one out and gave me a credit for 1 month and downsized me to the $349 as opposed, because if you do nothing, you'll get what you had before, which in most cases would be the $549. So you actually have to do something to get the change.
Right. So the $549 has been in existence forever.
Yeah.
And with your Pro Advisor membership, you automatically get software, the Premier Accountant Edition, the Enterprise Edition, POS, QuickBooks for Mac. Well, now they have taken all the software and taken that away, except for the Accountant Premier Edition, and allow you to purchase just that for the what did you say, $349?
$349 as opposed to $549.
Right, right.
But the $549, does it include all that? Do you still get the software, all the software?
Yes, yeah.
It's basically for people that don't use the Mac or the POS or the Enterprise.
Right.
Now, I don't use Mac or POS, but I do use Enterprise.
Then you'd want to keep it. You'd want to keep it then.
So
I'm not really taking on any Enterprise clients, and most of the clients, my tax clients, don't have Enterprise. So I use QBox, and so the Premier works fine with me. It's just that
Got it.
I don't use Enterprise anymore. I used to use it for my own business, but I found it to be such a data hog that it was just too much of a pain in the ass to work with. And so unless you've got Enterprise clients or Mac clients where you do POS, then you want to keep it. Otherwise, for, I don't know how many people that are just doing Pro and Premier, then it wouldn't make any sense to pay the extra $200 a year.
So my Pro Advisor membership renewed in July, and so I just paid the $549. So I'm going to call, and then they'll refund me $200. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I mean, mine was going to go in October, so it was like before. I don't know what's going to happen after the fact. I would think they might have something.
I would think if you had not downloaded those other things, and obviously you wouldn't have, there is a chance you might be able to convince them to take them out of your locker. Because they're sitting there in your locker right now for you, waiting for you to download them.
Right.
The other thought I had is I wonder, since I don't use POS and I don't use Mac, does that mean I could sell my license to somebody else? Would they have to register it with my name?
Isn't it not?
I really don't think that they allow you to resell.
I wouldn't think so.
I think that it's like not for resale. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
So if I don't do anything, it'll just stay where it's at.
Yeah, like, see, I already got the Enterprise for 2016 because they, it came out a month or so before my membership was going to renew. So now, I'm in that kind of funny zone where, I got the software, although I'm not going to be. I won't get it next year, but for this year I got Enterprise 2016, which I doubt that I'll use, but
Right.
So
because I don't have any.
It'll just stay where it's at. Like I have the 549 here.
It'll automatically renew if you do nothing. Most all Pro Advisors now at this point have been forced to give a credit card and be put on the automatic renew.
Right.
And I think that now you can't do the $50 a month.
Oh, right.
They did change that.
Right. You pay it all at once a year.
Yeah.
But the QBO people are still free, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So far.
Yes, yes.
I would expect that to change in the future as,
At some point, but not as long as they're trying to grow quickly.
Yeah, they're still in the business of trying to make QBO grow.
Yeah.
They're still in the business of trying to make it work.
that too.
Feels
Very
that way.
Dirty little secret.
Yeah, feels that way. Although I have to say, I'm at a point now where many of my clients are older clients. They've been using QuickBooks Desktop for years and years, and their data file is so big at this point, and hundreds and hundreds of vendors that are duplicates, and some of them misspelled the names. The same for customers that are on their list that have gone out of business at this point.
Yeah.
And then you run into the accounts receivable that have not been cleaned up since the year 2000, and what do you do? You're laughing. You understand what I'm talking about.
Well, you want to start a new data file at some point and just export all have them clean up the list. Don't they have somebody like a janitor in the office to clean up the list?
Well, at this point, I am switching people over to QBO. I have people that have been on desktop all that time, and I'm just saying, let's start new and just bring in the list.
File that I just brought into QuickBooks 2012, it went back to 1977.
Wow. See? There's a lot of
obviously it wasn't a Quicken in 1977. So when he got the first Quicken, like in 1985, he went back and he entered everything from the previous 8 years.
Oh,
Wow, that's wild.
See, there's lots of chances for corruption to happen in that amount of data.
Why in the world would you want that amount of data?
I've never really understood that, but see, you're coming from an accountant's point of view, Dennis, and from a person that's been in business, and they've been in business and worked on their business, and it's their baby. They want every bit of data that they have worked for. You're shaking your head, Connie.
Yep, because they want to see those trends and get those reports showing them out how it's changed over the years.
Absolutely, absolutely, but you can do that.
Not even factoring in the inflation and all that good stuff as to how comparable.
Well, and then the other thing is QuickBooks Desktop can do so much that I have people that started out, they wanted to pull in the billing. Every time they billed a vendor, they would mark it as billable, and they're going to pull it into their invoicing, and they're going to do this, and they're going to do that. And every year they have progressively dropped off doing one of those little things.
Oh, yeah.
Now they're at the point where they might not even be invoicing. All they're doing is entering information from their bank statement.
Yeah.
It's so individual. Each business is individual, and I'm trying to make it simpler and easier for my clients.
Yeah.
Gina, are your clients Trump fans or something? It's huge.
Well, it's real interesting what you said, because this client has now 2 Quicken files, because he's got the one that starts in 77 and goes all the way up to when I made the new Quicken file. I cut it off, so it started in 2/1/2012, because that's the beginning of his fiscal year, and it goes through now, and that's his new Quicken file. But his old one goes from 77 until 12/31 of 2012. And as I was sitting there working with him, he said, he kept being worried he was going to lose things. I said, no, everything is back here. It's all there. Everything is there. And then at one point, about an hour into the appointment, he says, oh, but if I use the smaller file, I have 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. He says, it's smaller and it works faster. He says, I think I'm going to use the newer file. Yay!
Congratulations.
I tell my clients there's a cost to maintaining and accumulated information, and in theory, value you're deriving from that in terms of making better business decisions, there is the cost of generating it and maintaining it.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's two big. One is external, which is like IRS, and they don't go back more than 6 years, 7 years, and then for yourself, and if you're not deriving benefit from, if it's not required by external agencies, then unless it's helping you make better business decisions, you're generating, you're spending time, money, and energy generating information you may or may not be relevant to.
Absolutely, absolutely, because if you send them a report, they surely do not look at them.
Right. And they're surely not going to look at
Right, exactly, exactly.
I mean, what's a 5-year trend line going to tell you as far as what you need to be worried about 3 months from now as far as your cash flow goes?
Right, exactly, exactly. But I'll tell you what, I did say this to Yvette earlier. I work in QuickBooks Online a lot and do a lot there, but when I get back to the desktop, it is like,
True.
Has anybody used the QuickBook, the QBO desktop app? I tried to use it yesterday and it was just taking too long to load, so I thought.
I do. I try to use it for most of the things, but I still do find that I go back and open a browser and go online every now and again for certain things.
Mm-hmm.
I can't give you any specific examples, but there are a few things that it is easier to do in the browser.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, I do like that app. It does seem like it works better. It does seem like it works faster. But
Does it look like? Does it look different? I mean, does it look like you're on QBO? Just faster?
Yeah. It looks like, you mean the app?
Yeah, the desktop app. Does it look like you're in QBO but just going faster, or is it?
Well, it does look like you have the same screens, but you have the icons along the top, and you also have menu items, and they have something called favorites. And what I like about the favorites is I can put the registers there. To me, QuickBooks I live in registers.
Mm-hmm.
Registers are how, I'll even enter information in registers.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's hard in QuickBooks Online to get to those registers.
Mm-hmm.
QuickBooks Desktop, you can go right to the menu item, or you can even have the icon set up where you can just click on it and get to it in a moment. QBO, not so much, but with the app, you can do that.
Yeah, what's nice, too, about the QBO app, though, is that you don't have to constantly log in. Like, I have this, I got the app, started using this, I got it at QuickBooks Connect. One of the Intuit people handed me the flash drive to download the app. And I've been using it. And what I like about it is every time I go in there, I don't have to sign off.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And the other thing is, I don't know if anyone else uses multiple windows, but I do it often, especially if I'm doing like bank reconciliations. You can go into another window, make a change, and it'll automatically appear in your bank reconciliation, which is nice.
Yeah.
Or the same for reports. The reports, you don't have to hit refresh after you make a change. It'll automatically refresh it for you. So those things are nice. But actual working in a file, fast and data entering, there is nothing that beats the desktop.
Now they have in 2016, they have that batch delete feature.
Now there have been times that the 1 or 2 times that you need that, that's when you really, really appreciate it. In general, unless you're doing something like importing or whatever, you're not going to need that. But if you import something incorrectly and you've got hundreds of transactions that now you need to get rid of, that batch delete is a lifesaver.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Do you know a woman named Joni Mann? Do you know her?
Who?
Joni Mann?
Yes.
She's a friend of Doug Sleater and Joe Woodard. I mean, she's up in my area. She came and spoke to our accounting group last month, and it was talking about alternatives to QBO. And she had kind of an interesting take, saying that because Intuit's trying to push people off the desktop, people are kind of resisting and looking at other ways of doing it, like Xero and Cashew. But she was also making the point that it's more of a blended thing, like with the Intuit QBO app, where because working in a browser is so slow, that she says it's more of a kind of a hybrid model where you can have a mixture of desktop and
Well, I think that's what that
cloud.
Win app does.
Yeah.
I think it makes the online more like a desktop. It's not exactly like the desktop, but it kind of makes the flow and working easier going back in between screens.
Having drop-down menus, trying to keep it looking like the desktop.
Right.
Yeah, even their check register, their new check register, I love it.
I like it too. I like it because it's customizable.
Exactly.
Has anybody used that box feature with requesting information from your clients?
I tried, but they keep changing it, and about the time I need it, it's somewhere else, and I am so tired of playing Where's Wally?
Where's the data? Well, I'm trying it with the client where he was using QBox, and then he switched to QBO, and he deleted his QBox. He stopped his QBox subscription. So of course, then when I go look for the QuickBooks file in QBox, it's not there because he canceled his subscription. So now I got to get a copy of his QuickBooks Desktop. I'm trying to, look at his sales tax, for desktop compared to QBO and see if it looks reasonable.
Right. Well, let me tell you about sales tax in QBO. I set my sales up taxable and non-taxable items so that I could actually run a monthly P&L. And there are times that there are differences, and the times that I found the differences, I tried hard to find out what was different and why it was giving me a different answer in that tax tab that
Taxable
it has.
sales, the taxable sales compared to the
Right, and I could not find it, not for anything. So I'm still not trusting that sales tracker yet at this point.
Did you see where Xero's integrating Avalara into Xero?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, nice.
I haven't tried that. How's that? Have you tried that, Yvette? How does that work, or have you tried it?
No, I haven't. I haven't tried it yet on Xero.
Has anybody tried Avalara, period?
Not me.
No.
You know why? Because I pay sales tax for my clients. I do the e-file, and I make good money at it.
Now, do you do just California?
Yeah, just California.
So that's where my problem is. I have a client that's, everything's going more globally now.
Yeah.
So they're across the United States, and more sales tax agencies are demanding that you pay sales tax whether you live or work in their state or not.
Yep.
That whole nexus thing is very...
Yeah, and I have some clients that are e-commerce. That's another thing. So...
Yeah.
Yvette, have you been given notice from Xero about any kind of new structure? Because I noticed that Jamie Sutherland is now kind of like GM of Xero and Avalara, and now they got a new Japanese guy for the president of Xero.
Would you see where Xero's reduced their monthly subscription? It's like instead of $30, it's like $15 a month. Have you seen that?
Really?
Did you see that, Yvette?
No, I did not. I haven't noticed.
Wow.
Well, I don't know if it's a limited time deal or not, but if you go in and look at their pricing, it's like the $30 a month is now $15.
Huh. That's more attractive to me.
Oh, yeah, compared to QuickBooks QBO.
Right.
I think Sage's got a very aggressive pricing too right now for their online product.
Who's that?
QBO is offering more to their wholesale people than they are to people like me that just recommend people to QBO.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd want to have the risk shift to me to collect the money, you know.
That's my problem.
I have a couple people on wholesale billing, and it works really nice. I mean, to think about, like I signed up 2 people last week on QBO, and with my wholesale billing, the essentials is like $14.95, okay, and then the plus is like $9.95. I mean, it's not a whole lot of money, and I'll just bill my client for it.
Right. Right.
And I just like, you know, because I'm an administrative user, and I don't know, but I just set up their file. They never had a QuickBooks before, so I just got it billing for them, and they wanted an online service, and they insisted on QBO. So,
Well, nice. I'm glad it's working out for you. And here's Deborah. We can now say congratulations, Deborah, for
Thank you.
the chosen for Firm of the Future.
I know, I was quite excited to find out, you know, especially since I'm married to such a dinosaur.
But Deborah, you've been with us, and you could join us from a cruise ship. You join us from across the United States. I mean, that's what being a part of the Firm of the Future is all about.
Yeah, well, I think it's more, that's part of it, but I think the bigger part is, you know, we can really make a difference in our clients' lives now with, you know, collaborating in real time. It's not like, okay, let me get you your stuff, and 6 weeks later we get it back, and who cares? You know, I remember when I was a CPA doing audits, I thought, really, does it matter that they didn't pay this bill on time in 2000, you know, 2 years ago? I mean, really. So, I just thought, you know, and then during doing taxes, I mean, you would do taxes April 14th for last year. What did it matter? It's already done. Old news.
yeah.
Exactly. And it comes down to what you said, Dennis. What is the value of all the information that you're putting in if you don't use it?
That's right.
Especially
Right,
for
and if
making
it's
future
old, you
decisions.
can't change it. Well, you can, but it's like old.
Right.
You know.
I agree. I think people are using the information from QuickBooks Online sooner, and it's much easier for them to understand than the desktop after it's already happened and it's a month later.
Right.
Yeah, it's like looking in your rearview mirror. I mean, how are you going to navigate going down the road if you're looking in your rearview mirror all the time?
Exactly.
That's a good analogy. Yeah, that's great. You know, plus now I think it's more fun. I mean, I find this is fun. You know, it's like a big puzzle I get to solve every day.
Exactly.
Like I just used that Q2 Pro or whatever it is. What's that called? That.
Is that where you convert the PDF to Excel?
No, well, I did it to a QBO. It's 2 QBO Convert Pro, and I had a client that went on to. They actually had an accountant who set him up on QBO who didn't put in the credit card at all. This was one of these typical accountants who, you know, would prepay. This is a deli. So they would have prepaid, and, you know, I'm thinking, it's a freaking deli. I mean, you know, who has, you know.
Prepaid insurance? That was a big one in the day.
So she called me up, and I said, well, why are you switching accountants? She goes, she talks. It doesn't make sense what she says to me. So I said, well, I might not make sense either, but I'm happy to talk to you. So I went down and saw her, because now the file's almost like 10 months old, and the credit card had never been entered.
Oh, brother.
So I thought,
So all those expenses have not been accounted on the P&L.
Yeah,
So
none of the credit card stuff. And so I thought, oh my gosh, I got the credit card statements, Bank of America, and they're like, you know, 3 and 4 pages long.
Right.
I'm like, I go SHIT, you know.
Did you have a big debit balance in the credit card payable, or?
No, it had a thing on there called credit card expense. Don't you love that?
Oh yeah, I love that.
Oh my God.
Well, that's what it was, don't you know?
I didn't realize I paid for the credit card, you know.
Or like, I like when I see sales tax expense and I say, no, there is no such thing.
Right. So,
You're a voluntary tax collector, you're not.
so I took that QBO thing, that little software from MoneyThumb, and got the file, and I converted them to QBO files by month and uploaded them to QBO, and I thought, I mean, I started to dance. I mean, I was so excited. You know, everything went in, and I did it today. It was just fabulous.
Now, you know, before QBO, would you have ever danced over something, doing a job for a client?
Oh yeah, well yeah, I do it every time I use TPI and Desktop. I do the same thing, you know.
Okay.
Well, today I have a client. It's a healthcare organization. They bill 100 patients a month, and the girl spends 2 days and 3 days inputting every single 100 patients. And I said, you got to stop doing that. Send me the list, the data where you. So she sent it to me today. So I created a template for TPI, and I said, watch this. And I had her log into my, we logged in. It was on Desktop. So I logged into her machine, started up TPI. I said, how long does this take you to do? Oh, I'm spending 3 days doing this. I said, watch. And I went, poof. And it was like that.
Who are mine?
She went, oh my God. I mean, I don't have to work this weekend. I go, no, take the weekend off. You know.
Wow. So when you use TPI, do you have to set it up first to like show it where to go, right? When you make those transactions come in.
Yeah.
Right?
So what I do to help, is I start up TPI, and if you look at and you go to like invoice, this is invoices.
Right.
So you go to invoices and you just pick up any file, and it will take you to the next thing. We'll have the list of everything you have.
Uh-huh.
And the ones in red you have to have. And the big one to remember with the invoices, checks, whatever, is the reference number is what determines the next invoice. So if you have 5 line, like if you're doing checks and you have splits and it was check 001, if you have 001 3 times, it will all go on the same check.
Okay.
So in the invoices, what I do is I use the columns, the columns one, not the rows.
Mm-hmm.
And I set up the template, and so all they have to do is fill it out. I mean, they just go, paste this in, and I have it all like locked, where stuff is locked and not locked, because she gave me the file. I said, just copy this file there, copy this there, look at these codes there, do a VLOOKUP here. I said, look, there you go. And she went, wow, this isn't hard at all. I said, no, I mean, but, if you have problems, just give me a call. So we did it. It literally took like 5 minutes to import these 100 transactions. And she just was beside herself.
I'm sure she was. 2 days free now.
Yeah. I mean, I do it for like credit cards. The same company has 8 credit cards with about, I'd say about 300 lines on some of these credit cards. So I download the thing and boof, right in. I mean, it is magical. They think and of course, I don't tell them it's that simple.
Of course not.
Yeah. I go, oh my God, I have to put the credit cards in today. Oh my God. Oh, this is so difficult.
Like value billing.
Yeah. So they don't know how much fun I'm having.
Debbie, do you have a staff?
I have a part-timer.
Oh.
That's it. Just a part-timer.
Wow.
So she does all the stuff I don't want to do. That's her job.
Yep.
So, so I teach her how to use TPI. I mean, we get everybody where these, like restaurants, a lot of restaurants that aren't on QBO or something. I make a spreadsheet for them where every day they have to fill out this spreadsheet that has like this one that has like beer, wine, whatever the major items are from the thing, the Z tape.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, there's the ins and the outs, and everyone is the line. And I said, fill this out every month and email it to me by the 2nd of the month, which they do, which I use as my TPI import.
I love it.
It's like, they don't know that they're making my life easy.
It's like outsourcing the work to the client and still billing them for it.
Yeah. So and they think, oh, I'm helping Debbie so much. I said, yes. And I said, plus, it always has to equal 0. The ins have to equal the outs. So if it's not 0, you made a typo. So it's great.
Nice.
I like figuring out all that stuff. That to me is what's fun. Instead of sitting there writing in checks, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's so boring.
I know. So my husband always says, why are you doing that? I don't understand. How hard is it to enter checks? I go, Really? I don't want to sit here for 4 days and doing it. Now, I have to understand my husband. He gets an email that's for me. He prints it out and puts it on my desk. I'm not kidding you. Which then I have to scan, rename, and put in my files.
Right, right.
You know, I said, you hear the forward button? Well, I want to make sure you get it. I go, I get it better when it's, you know, emailed. I don't lose emails. Now, you know, one day I went to the online fax thing, you know, because we had a fax machine. A fax machine?
Oh.
So, you know, I said, I hate this fax machine because, you know, everything was tiny and it's smeary, you know, and you have to be here to get it. I said, I'm moving to, you know, the online fax. Oh, I don't like that. I go, why? You just look at your email. You always have it, you know. So, yes, but it costs $10 a month. We almost got divorced over an app.
Oh my goodness, over $10 a month.
Yeah, really. There was
So
an app that I wanted to buy. Huh?
Fax, though. That's a question I have because I gave up my fax 2 years ago. My line coming in, something happened to the phone line coming into my house, and that was the last landline that I had set up was to the fax. And I just never called the phone company because I had my regular office phone, I had my cell phone, and nobody asked me to send a fax in that amount of time. So I said, okay, well, we'll just cancel the phone line, and I'm not getting I won't offer fax. So you still do get.
I know. I mean, I only have 2 people a month that use it.
Okay.
You know? So.
Well, I had a fax machine, and what I found was I was wasting so much toner by getting all these junk e-faxes, or these junk, you know, faxes, you know, on condominiums and timeshares and all this crap. So
It used to make me mad. I'd hate to be paying for supplies for them to send me an advertisement.
yeah, so I just said, forget this. I'll just go to e-fax. And the thing I like about e-fax, it goes to a secured website, so I can go on. You know, it's secure, and plus then I can download and save it as a PDF.
Yep. I use my fax. I've been using it for probably 8 years now. It works great.
So you're still receiving faxes?
My fax. It's called my fax. It's electronic fax.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's like e-fax.
And I pay $10 a month, which is nothing. And I got a toll-free number and everything.
Yeah. I use HelloFax. Same difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think they're all about the same. But you know, if you need a fax, you know, there's some old fogies out there still using faxes. I said, I wonder if they still have beepers.
Hey, I have a client that his CPA, he doesn't even do email.
Oh my goodness.
You know who the worst technology people are actually other accountants.
Oh, I would beg to differ. Or I would say some are and some aren't.
Because not the ones we hang around, but sometimes you get on this one company. One of my clients was just sold for $40 million, and they bring in a whole new team, and you know, of course we use Bill.com, and he says, "Oh well, I don't understand this. Why don't we just, you know, have bills come in and you can just, you know, like, you know, they go here, go there, go here, go there." I go, "No, you don't get it. If you bought this company because we really got effectiveness down and efficiencies. If you go back to the old-fashioned way of doing stuff, you're going to be losing money. So we're not changing out of Bill.com. And if you do, I quit."
Well, do you find that things like Bill.com increases the velocity of the transactions? What I mean is that people are under more pressure to pay fast, because it used to be you could kind of sit on bills, but now with like Bill.com, they know it's been sent, they know it's been opened up, and you're going to get bugged by more emails, you know. Whereas you can't really say I never got the fax or I never got the bill, because like with Zero, I can tell if they've opened up the bill or not.
Well, I don't even worry about that because I want to process the bills anyway, so I don't pay them till they're due.
You know, but I'm talking about the pressure on companies in general to have to pay faster because they're being pressured by their vendors to pay faster. So it would seem like they'd be pushing the pressure down to their customers to pay them faster so they can pay their vendors.
I don't know.
And that just seems like a logical.
Banks no longer have what's called float. I remember back in the day that they're, you know, well, I'll send this check out on Wednesday, and I'll be able to make that deposit on Thursday, and by the time the check gets in, the deposit will have cleared. Yeah, we can't play those float games like we used to.
When I worked at Transamerica Title back in the 70s, they had float accounts where the branches, they would set up these, and they could count on a 2-day float, and so they'd open these float accounts to, to get to the escrow. It would go into the float account, then it would get reimbursed it would get sent up to the home office so you could disperse from the escrows. And what was happening is that people were sitting on the floats longer than they should have, and so it was overdrafted in the regular account. But
yeah, you can't play that float game these days. Like Deb said, everything's going at the speed of light these days, and you want it to. When you pay a bill, you want to be able to see that money out of your account so you have a better idea of how much money you have in there instead of having to worry about float back and forth.
Oh, I know. Like today I got an email like this bill had to be paid by the end of the month. High priority, top priority. I said, send it up to bill.com. I'll process it. If you all approve it, today I can have it paid. The check will be in their hand by the 24th. So took care of it.
Yep, exactly.
You can't beat the speed.
No. And vendors do like it. They do like the fact that they don't have to go to the bank and put the money in the bank. They no longer have to worry about taking it to the bank and making a deposit. Well, that's if they're connected by ePay. If you're still sending out the check, that's a different story. But even that's more convenient, actually, than having to buy checks and
it's cheaper.
And yeah, all of that.
Yeah, not too many people write checks anymore either. Who goes to the bank? I know I don't.
But most small businesses do. Only 30% will do ePay. Most of them still write paper check. There was an article I read yesterday about check fraud, and how small businesses are still mostly write checks. In fact, that Frank Abagnale was at the NAM conference. He talked about that, how most small businesses are still writing checks.
Because they feel like they have more control over their money.
Well, we had a conversation this morning about millennials. I'd be interested in knowing the demographics of the people who are still writing checks.
Well, certainly not any millennials, that's for sure.
They don't even know what a check is. It's like asking them to look at a clock with hands.
Or how to write one out.
They can't tell what time it is if a clock has hands on it.
Yeah.
I don't know, my daughter, she does.
That's true. I mean, we're laughing, but it really is true. There is a big technology divide happening right now between the baby boomers, the Gen X, and the millennials.
Yeah, you should watch Seth's Hangout. It was an interesting discussion. We talked about that this morning with, who was that lady from Fundera?
Yeah, she was with us from Fundera. Look, I have the shirt on. Fundera.
Yeah.
Fundera.
Meredith.
I like Meredith.
She's nice. She's sweet.
Yeah.
It was interesting her comment about, because I asked her, I said, well, how would you feel about using someone that's older, as a millennial, but could speak your language as far as, the apps? And she said that was actually a pretty good combination, because you want to have a few gray hairs with the experience, but at the same time.
Oh yeah, you do.
That's true, because the younger folks really do jump into things without taking the time to understand exactly what they're jumping into.
Yeah, the other thing is that I find that in the younger generation, there's a difference between the way things are, how would I say, the mannerism that things are being dealt with. I grew up always making sure I said thank you. When someone called at my home, I'd say hello. Someone came to the door, you say hi. You're always very respectful.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The generations now, they're just very cut and dry. It's very different. For example, I have a couple CPAs that they're always referring the bookkeeping to me, to my company, and some of them are older. They're like in their 60s.
Oh my God, I'm almost 60. That's not old.
No, I'm
70.
I'm going to be 60 years. But the younger ones, like I have two younger ones, and they're like probably 28, 30 years old, young CPAs, and just the stuff that they ask me. You know, I'm so used to that CPA just turns over the client to me. You know, I'm going to send this client to you, or the client calls me and tells me, oh, you know, the CPA referred me to you. But the other ones, it's like they ask me all these questions. It's like, I don't know if that's normal, but I've never had that situation. It's like, okay, so if you get this client, you know, what would you recommend for inventory and blah, 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 which is nice. I mean, you know, but I don't have all day long. Or send me a chart, an example of a chart of accounts for a restaurant or for a franchise. I mean,
that's a good thing, though. I'm happy to hear that dialogue happening. You know, it's better than not.
Sometimes, you know, it's like, oh, wow, okay.
But
What's that?
what was Meredith saying about her father as a baby boomer, and he was kind of, you know, confused about the way he was being communicated with, where the younger clients would be texting him, texting him rather than sending emails or, you know, written correspondence. The use of text, which is kind of what we were talking about with Slack.
Slack, yes, that was the other.
I keep on calling it Slacker for some reason, but
Slacker. Well, we had all kinds of fun. We be slacking. I'm a slacker. Have a Slack attack. What were some of the other fun things? It was a lot of fun we were having.
Hacking the Slack and
hacking the Slack, yes. It is a program I do want to look at. I mean, people that are using it are raving about it. Raving.
What kind of program is it for?
It's like for
it sounded kind of like it sounded like messaging on steroids to me, the way he was describing it.
Well, they said that they get all of their communication through Slack. It's for teams and projects. Like you have team members. We could have a Slack account for ABO or for the small business accountants. And apparently emails come through it. And it sounded like texts come through. All ways of communicating go through this Slack. I'm not sure how that works.
Probably should watch. I bet you Steve Dotto's got a video on that. Probably should watch that.
He did, and I did watch it, and you know, it's so involved that you only get to see a little bit. The time that I watched was a Slack and a Blab. They started with Slack. Oh, I know. All this technology is like, wow.
I feel like I'm speaking a foreign language.
Well, Gina, remember when you first started this Hangout 2.5, 3 years ago? You said the reason you started it was because you wanted to get comfortable with the new technology.
Absolutely.
Yeah. See?
But
here we got all us old timers getting real comfortable with it.
With new technology.
That's right.
New ways to communicate. And I do see a difference between our generation and the way we communicate and with the young millennials. They think in Twitter bits.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just they have about a minute attention span, and that's it. If you go beyond that, they're on their next subject. So there is a difference, but you have to keep up somewhat, or you will be out, you know, completely.
You're marginalizing yourself. I mean, you're really marginalizing yourself if you don't.
Right. Absolutely. And you're the one that's not in the know. You're the one that doesn't know what's happening.
Well, I know in my Toastmaster group there's people that don't like email, and so it's really hard to let them know they're on the schedule, or they can't check the website to see if they're scheduled to speak or whatever. You know, it's like more trouble than worth. Yeah. So
I have a question from Donna. She asked me how to get a Fundera shirt. Speak to Meredith Wood. If you're an advisor, tell her you were on the Hangout and you want a shirt. So.
Sounds good. Meredith Wood.
Yes.
Is it an S?
No.
I think
it's just W-O-D-D. I mean W-O-O-D.
Wood.
Yes. And I think I have Fundera on my website as a partner too. So if you want to go and check it out, it's there. So what else did we want to talk about? We had a couple subjects earlier that we were talking about before the show.
By the way, I just set up my own Slack account while you were talking.
Oh, okay.
That's how easy it was.
We'll have to invite you to
And
ours.
then a free one, which is my
Right.
favorite price.
Yes, absolutely.
I can afford that.
Now we'll have to go on blog or Blab. We'll have to do a Blab session.
What's a Blab? Is that part of Slack?
Blab is part
No, it's
of
separate.
I think Blab is Twitter's, how would I put it, video chat.
Oh, okay. So then what is this? Is this like Old News Now Hangouts?
Hangout is Google Plus's video.
Okay.
And we get to have 10 people on Hangouts. Blab, you only get 4.
Oh, okay.
But then you have like a chat thing on the side where you can have as many people as you want.
Yeah, that's crazy. Steve he does his Blab every Wednesday. There's a lot of people that come on there and chat. Pretty wild.
To me, it reminds me of the old chat rooms. It's hard to keep up, really.
Yeah.
You know, you have to read fast, and by the time you respond to one, it's already on to the 10th subject.
You'd almost have to be in the social media business to really keep up with, I mean, to make it profitable, keep up with it. I mean, let alone try to do a business on this, you know, do your business.
Yeah, I'm not going to change from Google Plus, not for a while. A lot of people have been talking about it just because of the technical aspects, and always seems like you have some technical issues when you're starting it. I'm comfortable here with this, with this format now, so I'm not going anywhere for a little while.
Good. I mean, you just get used to something and something new
This
happens.
week.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's the way it is.
Yeah. And I hate saying
Well,
that
that's a good
because
skill
then I
to
sound
have
like
to
an
be able
old
to
geezer.
adapt, you know.
Those
sorry,
young people and their music. I hate their music. You know, remember that? So I never say that.
Get off my lawn.
Look at the long hair on those kids. I remember that was the Beatles when we were growing up.
I remember when I was back in the anybody over 30, you know.
Oh, yeah, and now here we are, well over 30.
I know. Sometimes, you know, I think, where did the time go? I can't believe how old I am now. You know, and I think about these people that have started, you know, their companies and, you know, do accounting and bookkeeping, and they're really making it. Some of them are young. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I should have started a long time ago, because, you know, here I am. I'm 53 years old, you know. I'm still, it's hard sometimes.
Yvette,
They still have to have their kids and all that stuff. I'm done with that part.
right, exactly.
See, I still have my girl, you know, she's 14, and we're always doing stuff with her, you know. It's fun, though. It's all great. It's
Enjoy it while you have it. You have very few years left, and they go very, very fast.
That's
My
right.
daughter's almost 18 now, and it's just in the last couple of years, she's more of an adult than she is a kid right now, and she's pretty mature. I mean, she's going to college while she's still in high school. She's taking college classes at the community college. Doesn't even go on campus at high school anymore.
Wow, wow.
So she's working, and so
My baby just turned 29.
I saw that on Facebook, I think.
I thought my post was great. And it's amazing now we're the same age.
That's great.
You have too much fun, Deborah. Do you really work? Do you really work?
I know. I said to him, "What do you want for your birthday?" He goes, "I don't want money." I go, "Really? You always get me money. I don't like money." I'm like, "Wow, you've never returned it." You know. I want to do something fun, so I started doing fun things. So last year we jumped out of an airplane together.
Wow.
And, that was the most thrilling thing I'd ever done.
I'll bet.
On Sunday we're going to Universal. We're gonna
Oh, nice.
Get annual passes to go to Universal Studios so we can go to Halloween Horror Nights when that opens up.
That'll be cool. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, my kids like hanging out with me. They're just like, don't you have your own friends? I mean,
That's because you're cool, Dad.
That's wonderful.
I took my son to a Pearl Jam concert one time, and these kids are in front of us. They turned around and they said to my son, "Oh, did you bring your mother to the Pearl Jam concert?" And Peter goes, "No, my mother brought me."
That's the best.
You're awesome, Deborah.
So what else do we want to talk about before we run out of time here?
Well, who's going to QuickBooks Connect? I've never been to that.
I'm waiting for SleaterCon.
I went last year, and I don't think I'm going to go this year, though.
It sounded like they were emphasizing social media at the QuickBooks Connect. At least that's kind of the impression I got.
Well, I wasn't going to go until they decided to buy me a ticket. So.
That's right. You have to go.
You'll have fun, Deborah. You will, Debbie. You will have fun because you know a lot of people. You know,
all day long, from start to finish, busy, busy, busy. It's wonderful. You'll be exhausted.
I love conferences. They're like my
Don't
vacation.
stay in the Marriott.
Well, I don't know. They're putting me up in a hotel, so wherever they put me, as long as it's not a park bench, I guess.
Probably
I'll be
Marriott. It's right there.
Are they? Well, the Hilton's on one side and the Marriott's on the other.
Yeah, one of those.
They're going to pay for your hotel?
My hotel, my ticket, my airfare.
She's a winner for
Yeah,
one
I
of the
see that. Good for you. It's well worth it. You have choices of so many things to go to.
Did they tell you why you won? I mean, what criteria they judged you
Yeah,
on?
they told everybody.
Well, you had to just submit that video, which I did. I don't know if you saw it.
I did. I
saw
loved
a couple of videos that you submitted. One, you were in, it looked like a ski outfit or something. You had a hat.
Oh, I did that because I did that for Sleater. Because, you know, I did one last year to Sleater. I was with Peter Bodreski in Canada. And we said, oh, you know, here we're going to the Sleater conference. So Peter said, are you going to do another one? I said, okay, I'll do one when I'm on my cruise. So we were running ATVs. So I held the video. Okay. I had my little thing on for the dust. We were covered in mud. So that was for the Sleater conference, you know. And then this one was for that Firm of the Future.
Where you just like a little how you work and what you do. And it was a great video.
And I saw you have 4 screens.
Yeah, I have 4 monitors. Can you see?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Firm of the Future.
Yeah,
yeah. 4 screens. Woo-wee!
Yeah, so I can play my puzzles. I can do my steering. Right now, I got a jigsaw puzzle going. I got my Pandora box.
You do your little TPI thing that takes 5 minutes, and the rest of the time you're playing your puzzles.
Yeah, I got my Hulu going or Netflix. You know, I'm my little cave back here. You know, it is impressive when I bring customers back here and they sit down and they go, holy mackerel. I said, this is where all the magic happens.
That's great.
You know, they love coming to see me because, you know, they sit back and I make them sit in my chair. There's the chair they sit in.
Okay.
So then I go, okay, let's go to work and we, you know, have fun and, you know, it's just fun. You know, I like what I do. I just think it's fun.
That's great. That's the way it should be.
Absolutely.
But you know, when I started as a CPA, I absolutely, positively hated it.
So what changed?
I think the computers, you know, with the
Technology, making your life easier and not sitting there, check 101.
Well, when I started, we were using the green ledger sheets, paper and pencil, track every 6 minutes of your time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I passed the CPA exam, and I thought, I hate this job. You know, and I remember it was April 16th. It was a Friday. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Nobody was working. And I said to the boss, could we go home? I mean, we've been working 80 hours a week, you know, and we're tired. He goes, no, I pay you to sit there. And I thought, I'm wishing for Friday at 5. My life's too short. So I actually looked down, and I was doing a tax return for a Mary Kay sales director, and she was making 3 times what I was. So I called her, and I said, hey, Valerie, I think I want to sell Mary Kay like you. You have to understand, you know, I'm a tomboy. My mom was a gym teacher. I didn't even know what mascara was, but she was making a lot of money. She goes, well, I'll teach you. I said, okay. So I started selling Mary Kay, and I sold it for 10 years. I had the pink Cadillac and everything.
Oh, you did well.
Yeah. So then then computers came out. So I started to do newsletters and, you know, left Mary Kay because I met my goal. I wanted to win a Cadillac. I met my goal and started a newsletter company. And then I worked as a professor at a college teaching Excel. And then I worked at a law firm teaching computers. And then 9/11 hit. And they did away with my department, so all of a sudden I'm out of a job.
Oh.
And I had started dating my husband a month earlier, and he had his own tax and accounting practice.
So there you are.
And I thought, well, I could help you out until, you know, I find something to do. And he said, okay. I said, but I don't want to do the tax part. I'll do the accounting part. And I need this QuickBooks stuff. He goes, I'm not buying that because that's expensive, and I don't see what's the matter with the DOS that we're using. I said, well, I'm not using that. So for my birthday, about 2 years later, that was my birthday present, QuickBooks Pro Advisor.
Wow. Wow.
So, and so then finally, you know, so I never found a regular job, and then I had to marry him to make sure I got the business when he croaks.
Now look at where you brought him. You brought him into the age of technology, Deborah.
Well, I have to drag him. You know, when I first met him, you know, that was when high-speed internet first came out. He is really funny. He's your typical accountant, you know. So I said, you got to get on this high-speed internet. It's really great. He goes, no, it costs $45 a month. What's the matter with, you know, the dial-up stuff? And I said, it's just, you just don't know. You have to try it. Once you try it, you'll never go back. So about a year, I said, so one time, I remember he goes, how come you're not coming over? I said, because you have dial-up. You know? So I said to him, look, just try it. You know, they give you 30 days free, and if you don't like it, pull it out. So he called me up one day. He goes, guess what? I go, what? I got 90 days free. I said, oh, great. You know. So about a week later, we're out with somebody, and he starts talking about, well, you have to have high-speed internet to do this. And I'm looking at him going, well, I don't care. You know. So now that's all he talks about, like high-speed internet and bill pay. You know, he finally decided to start using bill pay and not write checks anymore.
Nice.
You know. But I tell you, the only person that still will not pay their sales tax electronically, we have one client that won't do it. That's us. I'm not paying sales tax online. I go, why? You know, I just don't want them to have access to our bank account. I go, not any more than Florida Power does. There's some battles I just can't win, so I just let it go. But, you know. He is funny. Here's the email. Here's the email for you.
You have 2 more steps to get it in your system.
Yeah, can't you forward it to me? Oh, all right.
Yeah,
well,
just scan it back into your system, right?
that's what I do. Or he writes it down on paper. He said, take a picture of it. Take a picture of it. You know. So.
Hey, Gina, I wanted to give you an update on my client.
Oh, good. What's happening, Misha?
You guys know my architect client, the one that has the Canadian company and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So with the $26 off balance, multi-currency, so we've decided to split the companies, and we are officially now on QBO Canada.
So one company is Canadian and one company is US.
Yes.
Awesome. That's the way to go. That'll be the way to make the taxes clear.
Yeah. But I had to actually sign up to be a Canadian Pro Advisor. Hold on.
Well, the train's happy.
So I wonder if the Canadian Pro Advisor is different than the U.S.
And the Canadian QBO, I would wonder how much different it is.
The Canadian QBO, she said, is a little bit different, and that's based on the type of taxes that run through it, because it's like by count, it's by province, I think. What do they call them?
Right.
Don't they have like VAT taxes?
There's HST, PST, GST, ST, STD, all of them.
disease.
Like a disease.
You never know.
Sounds like a disease.
You never know.
Transmitted disease.
Yeah, but it also depends on where your business is located. So you would pay to a certain agency. My clients is in Ontario, so they have HST. Yeah, so I have to split out 2015 and load everything, all of the Canada companies, bank accounts, vendors, everything in the Canadian QuickBooks, and then we'll clean up the U.S.
So I assume the Canadian QBO doesn't have sales tax, right?
Yeah.
Tax.
It's Canadian. It's the Canadian taxes. It's not necessarily called sales tax, but it's certain entities. Even because she's an architect and they're providing services, there's HST tax they have to pay. So I got to brush up on all of that and when it's due and all of that and get it set up properly.
Add 2 liability accounts, due to and due from the intercompany.
Yep, because the vendors will charge her sales tax. It's a little bit complicated, but so that's going to be a huge project, and we have the next 3 months to get it all done. So we need to be done by the end of the year.
I see TPI in your future.
You think?
TPE and TPI. And TPD.
I know. I just gotta clear up. I gotta clear up the STD first.
STD. That sounds like something.
Yeah. That sounds like something dangerous. But yeah, I actually was able to sign up for the Canada QBO for free.
So what do you get for Canada QBO?
I'm sorry?
What do you get with the Canadian QBO?
Heartache and grief. It's QBO. Come on now. Just because it's in Canada, it's QBO with an accent. Come on now.
Yeah, they always say A.
QBA.
Yeah, because she said that they have Canadian pro advisors who have one U.S. account, so they had to sign up on the U.S. side. So it's,
So you're a U.S. one that has to sign up on the Canadian side.
Yes. So that, and in order to get the accountant's tools in QBO, I had to become a QBO pro advisor on the Canadian side.
So you are bilingual QBO.
Yes.
Do you have like 2 pro advisor memberships, one Canadian, one American?
Yes.
Did you have to pay the $500 for that, or they gave you that?
No. This is the free online one, the free, the QBOA free.
Oh, okay.
You sign up for free, and I have one client, so I don't need to. I'm not going to be attracting any more clients in Canada. This is just for this one, client. So I'm not,
You never know.
Yeah, I'm automatically on the silver level. She said once I do the certification, then I'll move up, and I won't need to worry about anything. But if I haven't done the certification on the U.S. side, I don't know if I want to do it on the Canadian side.
Well, I believe the QBO now has a new certification. Well, coming out in October. That's what I thought I read.
You know what? I don't understand this new certification. Like, I don't get it. Like, I really don't get it. Like, do the damn test, vet it properly, put it out once, and be done. Don't switch it every friggin' day. Like, every time I turn around, it's like, oh, there's a new QBO test. There's a new one. There's a new one. I'm like, really?
I think you have to take it once a year, don't you? I mean,
yeah, you do. But like every 5 minutes, I keep hearing new QBO tests, as opposed to, use the date, use the 2015 version or the 2000, instead of saying new.
Well, I don't know what's involved with the QBO certification. They just had at the VCon 5 different webinars, part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for QBO certification. And that was not the advanced test.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, Misha, they said at the VCon there's a website, qboblog.com.
Yes, I'm going to sign up for that and get updates, but I need to do the QBO Canada blog.
Okay. Oh,
because I don't have any clients on QBO US. I don't use it.
Oh, okay.
Do you use it yourself?
To go in and check my no.
Because I found a year ago I had no one on it. So I thought I better drink this Kool-Aid or else, I'm going to fall behind. So I put myself on it and I started to hook up the apps and everything. I thought, holy mackerel, this is great.
Yeah, I will when, one of these days.
Well, that's what I thought. And then I just finally took the plunge. And I tell you what, I have like 45 people on it now.
Nice.
Yeah, I will be doing more with it. Unfortunately, I have that. It's not that high on my. It's on my to-do list. It's just not that high at the top yet.
Right.
Because I have my desktop people that are taking up a lot of time, but it's just me. Don't forget. So I'm gonna looking to get an outside office and bring on some staff. When I do that, that's when I'll branch out, advertise, and I'll be able to streamline a little bit better.
Right, right.
But this particular project is going to eat up a lot of my time. Plus, I also do taxes. So tax season, I'm MIA. So, it all depends on, how things work out in that end, too.
I had kind of an interesting tax situation with one of my audits. This one auditor, I met with her like 3 months ago, and I hadn't heard back from her. It was like a desk audit. And so I couldn't get a hold of her. So finally I was talking to another auditor on a different audit, and he gave me the phone number of her boss. I called her boss wasn't in, but I talked to the secretary, and the secretary sort of flagged her down as she was getting back from lunch, so that's how I got a hold of her. And says, oh yeah, I thought maybe she had died or something, So I was checking the obituary to see if you were still alive.
Oh my goodness.
So fine, so yeah, I said I had higher priorities. I'm going, well, my client's been asking about it. And, I was sending emails and calling, I wasn't getting responses, so I thought maybe she had left the IRS. But no, she just wasn't returning. She's so busy. I guess she's working like about 70 different audits. Their workload is absolutely insane.
Wow. Oh, I'm glad it's not me.
Well, you almost have to feel sorry for them because the Congress cuts their funding so much, and they're just trying to do their job.
Right.
Technologies at best, their technology is mid-1990s.
Yeah,
at best.
And so they're trying to do something that's really important to collect the tax, and
not really.
I don't mind them doing their job. I feel I pay every dime of tax that I'm supposed to, so should everybody else.
Well, someone once told me if you cannot afford to pay your taxes, you should not be in business.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, I think to myself, I think Seth said the other day on this, the ABBO thing, I'm getting killed with taxes. And I'm like, well, why haven't you been saving your money to pay them?
Because it's this ingrained thing that, I make the money, it's mine. And nobody gets to take it.
If he's getting killed on taxes, that means he's making a lot of money.
Exactly.
Right,
but
and then
fact
people are
is
telling
you're
them
supposed
to go spend money to get a tax deduction. I go, now you'll have less cash in the bank. I don't get it.
Uh-oh, somebody's having a party. I think people they try to do everything to avoid the tax, but if you're making the money, it's an automatic thing that know a portion of that needs to go towards taxes.
Well, unfortunately, a lot of clients, I think, use the money to finance, either finance their inventory or whatever, in the hopes that they'll get a big, killing on a seasonal business and then pay the IRS later. But effectively, they're sort of using IRS funds to finance their business effectively.
Or pay their employees.
Yeah.
But a lot of, and I see this a lot in the entertainment industry. Every time I turn around, there's a celebrity that's, the IRS is coming after them for non-payment. I'm like, really? You're making money. Don't you? The people who are advising you,
like, people to take care of this.
Yeah, but these people are not paying these people's taxes.
Nobody wants to. Nobody wants to
save 20-25% and just for your market for taxes.
Automatically take off a chunk, put it in the bank, and know that's what you got to pay.
That's what we do. every dollar that comes in, we put, you know, like 30% in the bank to pay the tax.
that's a good number to use, 30%.
Yeah. Because you got your, you know, you never know what deductions and all of that is going to come out. So in reality, you know, you might not really, you know, your effective tax rate might be a lot less than 30%.
And you get a refund.
And you get, you know, you get a refund. So, you know, or you anticipate 30% and you only end up paying 20. That's, you know, that's not bad. Leave that 10% in there, throw another 20 on top of that, and you're good for the next time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, on that note, I'm going to end for today. A lot of fun topics today. Thank you, everyone. I will see you next week, and have a great weekend.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.